Anybody else get weirdly warm and fuzzy inside every single time the word girlfriend is actually used between Luce and Amity? Or is it just me? Anyways, another crazy episode, another spoiler-filled breakdown. In this video, I'll be taking a look at each aspect of the episode and breaking it down, explaining what happened and theorizing what it might mean for the future of the show. Be sure to dip out now if you haven't watched the episode, otherwise please enjoy. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe, as many of you regular viewers don't. It lets you know when I release new Owl House content, which really helps out the channel. If you want to help out even more and want some awesome perks, be sure to join my Patreon in the description. Now back to the video. Since this is the start of the breakdown, I think it makes sense to begin with what we saw at the start of the episode. Here, we see some blueprints for constructing the portal key, along with a list of what seems to be ingredients for something known as a Grimwalker. These ingredients include a gold stone, a powerful stone that amplifies magic as seen in Through the Looking Glass ruins, palisman wood, the material used to create palismans, as we found out in Hunting Palisman, and Selkie-Dharma scales, which is obviously from the Selkie-Dharma species, which we were introduced to in the first episode of the season. Now we know why Belos was hunting them. We also have two other ingredients that we haven't actually encountered yet, but maybe we will in a future episode. A lot of you may be looking at the page on the left, seeing the fetus, and immediately thinking that Creepy Luce is a Grimwalker. However, may I point out that it kind of looks like Hunter with the big red eyes?
Go on.
It's a little suspicious that he has no family, shares Belos' very specific ear cut, and that they even share a similar hair colour. Could Hunter be a Grimwalker created with Belos' DNA? If this is the case, then we have to ask, what use might Belos have for a clone in the first place? Seeing as Belos' current body is decaying, an idea I had is that he'll use him as a new vessel to inhabit, as his body in its current state probably couldn't handle powerful magic. We even know from Once Upon a Swap that this sort of magic does exist, so it's certainly not out of the question. Oh yeah, we need to talk about Belos' face reveal. My god, it's not as beautiful as I was expecting, actually. Damn, I was so ready to simp. More importantly, we now know that he's a very old man and that his face is decaying, turning this shade of dark green. Not surprised he usually keeps the mask on, not gonna lie. He does have a pointy ear, somewhat reminiscent of a witch's, but interestingly, he also has a tragus like a human ear. You know, this little pointy bit. Not to mention, it's human-sized too. Either he's part human, or maybe he's a mutated human. Contributing to the theory that Belos is a human, he reminisces about Earth as if it was his home. We'll get to that when we talk about Philip Wittebane later. That pretty much covers everything we saw in that scene, so let's move on. Though, before we talk about the meat of the episode with Amity and Hunter, there are a ton of pop culture references we should get out of the way first. When bringing soothing human noises for Luce's recovery, King mentions one of them being lo-fi beats to study and relax to, referencing a very popular music playlist on YouTube with a very similar name. When trying to transform into her harpy form, Eda attempts to power up like Goku from Dragon Ball Z. I mean, it did work for Anne. This world's version of DBZ, however, is actually called Dragon Claw Z. The cover pays pretty faithful homage to the characters. To actually transform, Eda made a deal with the Owl Beast to eat small live mammals such as vole. Funny, but mostly pretty disgusting. Something I also noticed is that the communicators are incredibly reminiscent of Tamagotchis, my favourite childhood toy. Do you guys remember playing on those? Let me know in the comments. My first one was a Gen 3. Interestingly, Amity is represented by a cat, with striking similarities to her new palisman Ghost, while Luce is represented by a bat. Could this mean Luce will get a bat palisman? This makes a ton of sense, considering she's had a bat companion this entire time. That's right, I'm of course talking about her phone case. This would be some awesome foreshadowing. It also makes sense for her to have a flying nocturnal creature for a palisman, just like her teacher.
Aw, what a sweetie.
On Amity's side, I think a cat is very suitable for her. Elegant and cute, but with a fierce side. Since she missed getting one at Hex side, I'm thinking that Ghost is a family palisman. Also, it's based on Dana's own cat. Adorable. Alright, it's Amity time. Amity, being a victim of emotional abuse at the hands of her parents, needs convincing that the person she loves won't be mad at her for doing something wrong. Despite knowing Luce really isn't that kind of person, she simply can't shake the feeling that she'll leave her if she isn't perfect. This is spurred on by Hunter, who shares similar abuse from Belos, and we'll get to that in a second. Luckily, while Amity needs constant reassurance, Luce is a person who loves to give it, showering her with compliments via her communicator, and giving her the warmest hug ever while calling her her awesome girlfriend when she returns home safely. Honestly, it melted my heart into a pile of abomination goo.
They're adorable and deserve all the happiness!
Speaking of abomination goo, my god, between Darius and Amity, the abomination coven isn't seeming as lame as I once believed it to be. She makes it look badass as hell, showing us exactly what she's capable of during her fight with Hunter. She's come a long way since Grom. We also get to see more Abomaton powers, such as force fields, which is pretty neat. Alright, we've waited long enough. Let's move on to Hunter. While he certainly was a bit of a bastard this time around, it's important to remember that he's an emotionally abused kid who doesn't know any better. I just can't help but feel sorry for him. All he wants is approval from Belos, who is clearly the most important person to him. It seems like a lot of that love comes from believing that Belos sees him as special, and perhaps Hunter believes he's the only person capable of believing so. Even if he ultimately betrayed both Luce and Amity, he opened up to them very quickly, which I think speaks volumes about how affection-starved he is. Amity helping him through his issues as someone who's been where he is definitely makes sense, and she certainly makes an effort to here.
There are people out there who won't make you feel worthless. You just have to let yourself meet them.
I actually called this happening on Twitter, so bragging rights I guess. As for Hunter's magic, he has some insane skills with his new palisman, and seems to specialise in teleportation magic. While he could already teleport with his normal staff, the aura with this one is completely different, being orange and much less techie looking. While starting out being unable to understand his new cardinal palisman, he actually does manage to commune with it and find out its name at the end of the episode. This to me definitely seems representative of Hunter starting to be more true to himself, rather than listening to the lies that his uncle has taught him. Here's hoping Belos never finds his little birdie friend. Finally, we have to talk about the new entry in Philip's journal. I want to point out that he's growing stubble, which is pretty much shorthand in everything for a descent into madness after years of going crazy. Not to mention that while trying to find the blood, the people that accompanied him died. Who were those people? Could they have been Philip's closest friends? If so, then I wouldn't be surprised if he started growing bitter and resentful. All I'm saying is, I'm still totally on board the Philip being Belos train, baby. That's all I have for now, but trust me, I'll definitely be talking more about this episode in the very near future. Please leave the video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more weekly Owl House content. Be sure to join my Discord, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to my Patreon. Links are in the description. Also, be sure to check out this book by my awesome patron Meg Rabbit. The illustrations are awesome, and the tone is very similar to that of the Owl House and Amphibious. Thanks for watching, and see you guys next time.